Welcome to the AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown. We'll guide you through the biggest news of the day. Our focus, advocating our rights, advocating equality, advocating health, and advocating Earth. Here's our pick for number 4.
For months, back-to-back climate-driven disasters have further strained the U.S. blood supply, forcing the American Red Cross to sound the alarm, saying their supplies are critically low.
It has become challenging for us to meet the demand of our hospitals.
With a busy summer travel season and back-to-school activities, the organization was already seeing low donor turnout. That, paired with blood drive cancellations because of extreme weather, has led to the national blood supply dropping by nearly 25% since early August, despite a constant demand.
Blood cannot be manufactured, it can't be stockpiled, and really it's the blood on the shelves on a daily basis that is needed to save lives.
From emergencies to cancer patients and women in delivery, blood is used to help patients every day. The Red Cross says all blood types are urgently needed, but there's an emergency need for platelet donors and type O blood donors.
About 40% of this country's population is eligible to donate, and only about 4% do.
When Hurricane Idalia slammed into the southeast, the Red Cross says it was unable to collect more than 700 units of blood and platelets, and the storm season isn't over. Hurricane Lee is now being closely monitored.
The need is constant, and it's the patients that are at the other end of this life-saving product.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
TheAdvocateChannel.com looks at the world through the lens of equality and inclusion. Subscribe, like, and share now. AC 24/7's Top Story Countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
Tonight, law enforcement officials say they still believe convicted killer Danilo Cavalcante is in Pennsylvania, but now they're suggesting this intense manhunt may not end quickly.
Now we're going to prepare for the long game. This is a manhunt, and all that means to us is that it's a longer fugitive investigation with more resources.
Police again saying there is no longer a defined search area.
I have not formed a similar border, a physical presence to contain an area. We are, however, still conducting searches without identifying and securing a very specific area.
The search for Cavalcante moved further north over the weekend after he was spotted more than 20 miles from the Chester County prison. Police saying he somehow slipped through a tightly guarded perimeter due to possible weaknesses.
I am aware of some of the weaknesses. Longwood Gardens presented some very unique challenges.
There's a massive tunnel system. There's a lot of ravines. It's very, very thick vegetation there.
Cavalcante got away after stealing a white Ford van from a dairy farm Saturday evening, which he later ditched behind a barn. Police saying it ran out of gas.
Well, we just have to be aware of it, and I know that the authorities are in the area, and we just have to be on our toes. He has to know that for his actions, there's always a consequence, and he needs to, face his consequences.
Police also confirming the dairy farm is where he stole the bright green hoodie, which he was seen wearing in this doorbell camera image, along with a clean-shaven face. These images of the 34-year-old fugitive provided to police by a former work associate who had not spoken to Cavalcante in years.
The fact that he has reached out to people with a very distant past connection tells me he doesn't have a great network of support.
Police say Cavalcante attempted to meet with 2 former work associates on Saturday night, one in the East Pikeland area of Chester County at around 9:52 p.m., and another in the area of Phoenixville at 10:07 p.m. Cavalcante's former roommate spoke to CNN affiliate WPVI, saying he has been trying to assist authorities since Cavalcante's crab-walking escape from prison on August 31st.
I'm here to see if they need my help to speak Portuguese, if he's found and I can talk in Portuguese with him, so he can surrender.
Franco did not give his last name to WPVI, but did release this security camera footage saying it shows the day Cavalcante moved out of their apartment in the area in 2021. Franco saying it was the day before Cavalcante killed his former girlfriend, Deborah Brandow.
I just want him to be caught so I can sleep, I can go live my normal life, everybody can feel safe again. And yeah, he has to pay for what he did.
Like the Advocate channel on Facebook for the best way to get updated stories that advocate for equality, justice, our rights, and more. AC 24/7 continues with today's top 2 pick.
This fight feels different.
It's different.
Why is that?
Because there's more at stake. We don't want to strike, but you're leaving us no choice if you don't give us a fair contract.
We are the union!
It's what's on the minds of nearly 150,000 United Auto Workers who are days away from a potential strike.
What do we want? Contract! When do we want it? Now!
As they work through negotiations, they say the world got more expensive, but their wages got left behind.
People used to aspire to be part of the, automotive workforce. I can't remember the last time I went to the grocery store and was able to fill my cupboard and my refrigerator.
Renee Dixon says even with 12-hour shifts, she sometimes has to work a second job just to keep up.
I don't think I should have to do that. If the pay rate and, everything stays the same, there's no path. I'm just gonna fall further and further back.
It's why the union is pushing in part for at least a 40% raise over 4 years, cost of living adjustments, a return of traditional pension plans and retiree health care, and more. But the union and big three automakers, Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis, are very far apart on it all.
It's still slow, but we're moving. We have a long way to go.
Meanwhile, the countdown has gone from weeks to days. One analysis says a 10-day strike on all three automakers, for example, would cost the U.S. economy more than $5 billion. But union leadership sees this fight as bigger than all of that, especially as GM saw record profit last year and Ford saw near record profit.
The talking heads, the pundits, the companies want to say that, if we strike, it can wreck the economy. It's not that we're going to wreck the economy. We're going to wreck their economy, the economy that only works for the billionaire class. It doesn't work for the working class.
I was able to raise a family in the auto industry, and it was a different industry than it is today.
Randy Sandusky retired in 2005 after working in the auto industry for decades. Part of what's been lost in recent years is retiree health care for those hired since 2007. Their benefits, he knows, can be crucial.
I know some that are crippled, they can't hardly walk and stuff. I used to build handicap ramps for them to get in and out of their houses. And they're all retired from General Motors and they don't get a lot. It's just sad.
It's part of why workers now hope to make more than just incremental progress.
I'm raising my family. I'm doing it. I'm not crying, but I'm not able to do what I should be able to do. Whatever's going to happen, I know that our membership is not going to back down.
It's time for the average worker to be appreciated. Because if you're more happy, you're willing to do anything to make the job work. And when you feel appreciated, that's priceless.
It certainly has been a somewhat delayed effort. We're today in the village of Moulay Ibrahim, and you can see behind me just how remote some of these villages are. We are high up in the Atlas Mountains, and that has proven to be a real struggle for rescue teams. Many of these villages, many of the hardest hit areas across Morocco are in these remote, high up mountainous areas, and that has proven to be a real challenge for rescue teams. Now, just yesterday we were in another village further up, further south, and this is a village which has proven hugely difficult to reach. We spoke to people there who have been impacted by the earthquake. They told us that the international rescue teams had only just made it to the village yesterday, that they had been spending days digging through the rubble of their collapsed homes with their bare hands, and they have only just begun to receive that humanitarian aid, have only just begun to see doctors and medical personnel on the ground there. And of course, it has been difficult to reach some of these areas. The roads have been blocked in some places because of the debris, because of damage to the roads. But of course, there is still a real sense of frustration among these residents in these remote villages around that delayed response. Many people are now living in temporary shelters, including in this village. You can see the homes damaged behind me just further down the mountain. Many families living in tent shelters now.